to MyITLab and how to get started. We'll look around at a little bit of the assignments, all right? So I've opened up my browser, and remember that Chrome is the preferred browser. Also remember that it is important to unblock any pop-ups. In other words, allow pop-ups, okay? Disable your pop-up blocker. All right, so on the handout, the sheet that I give you, there's a really long website that says Pearson, MyLab, and Mastering. You could certainly type all that, it'll work. A shortcut is just type myitlab.com if you like, and that will take you to the same page. See in the address bar here, Pearson, MyLab, and Mastering. All right. So when you first come into this website, you're going to have to register, and so you would click the student link. I am going to give you one little bitty note of caution. It's not a big problem, but if you have previously taken a class that uses Pearson and uses my something lab, my math lab, my, I don't even know what it's called, English lab, my whatever lab, my reading lab, my I don't know, science lab, I don't know what they have, okay? But if you have previously used something like that, then you may already have a user ID created, especially in some of our classes where the cost of this is bundled into the course. In other words, you didn't have to go purchase an access code separately. In that case, you have a user ID. It's your Southwest user ID and password. You can simply then click sign in and use that user ID and password. Now, it's not going to mean that everything is free. You're still going to need an access code to get into our course content. It's just like one book doesn't fit every single course ever. You have to buy the book separately. So you still have to pay for that. But if you wanted to use your Southwest user ID, you might find that it says, hey, somebody already has an account with that email address, and that's why, okay? So I'm going to click on student, and it says, do I have these three things? An email address can be any email. So if you do run into a snag using your Southwest email, just use a different one, however you want to do it, it's no problem. Course ID, that was on the handout that I gave you in class, and the course ID for every section of the class is different, so make sure you've got the correct one. You either need the access code or you need the credit card, all right? Because you're going to have to pay for this. So we're going to click on Register Now. Right off the bat, what is your course ID? Now, I had previously typed it so I could just copy and paste. Please don't use this one if you're in a different course, okay? Make sure that the course ID that you're using is for our particular course. All right, so now I can sign in or I can create an account. It is worth, folks, just double checking, make sure you're in the right, I teach different sections of this. Make sure this happens to be the Flex 2 section, 1H2, it's in the spring semester, so, just double check that. Okay, so I'm going to click Create, and I'm going to see if this works. I have to say I'm testing this a little on the fly. I'm just going to make up an email address. BUSN1360 at hotmail.com. Well, there you go. Your email address as your username, or enter a different username. I'll keep it. That sounds good. BUSN1360 Hotmail. Help me remember that. Okay, so now I need to create a password. At least 8 characters, at least 1 letter, at least 1 number, at least 1 capital. Don't use my username or password. So let's think here. Oh, I'll tell you what. I'm going to... Now the thing is going to be if I can remember this, right? Whenever I do these on the fly, I don't remember. Okay, so I'm going to say sample spring. You would put your real first name and last name. Please, you would be helpful to me if you use the first name and last name that are on file with the campus. If your first name is Bob, and Robert is how you're registered, it just helps me if you'll put Robert there because I can align it. Ladies, we are kind of the offenders with the changes in last name. If you've gotten married, if you've gotten divorced, and I understand you may have strong feelings about that name, but if your name at the college, if you're registered with the college as Mary Smith, but you like to be called Jane, and you recently got divorced and Doe, when I see Jane Doe, I have a hard time figuring out that, oh, in fact, you are Mary Smith on my roster. So I would just appreciate the help if you'll put the name that you're registered with the college. Let's see, we need a security question here. Let's see. Father's middle name. Memphis, how about that? You do have to accept the license agreement. You do not have to accept this improved Pearson products with feedback, all right? Okay, so at this particular point, and this is March 2016, you see what the cost is. If you have an access code, you got the printed book with the access code in it from the bookstore, click access code. Make sure you understand this is not the same as the code on the inside cover of your book. This is a separate card that is either inserted in the book or that you would buy separately. MyITLab for your Office series with the e-text. Notice that's your offer, right? Or without the e-text. So I don't know. I think it's going to be helpful for you to have the e-text, but this is a decision that you're going to have to make. Where is my free trial? It's easy to overlook. See down here, waiting for financial aid, get temporary access without payment for 14 days. That's what I'm going to do. You can certainly do that as well. You're not going to lose any of your work, but after 14 days, of course, you will have to pay to continue working in the system. Are you sure you want temporary access? Yes, I am. It's going to take a minute. There we go. Okay, I'm done. It says you have temporary access. Use this, use an access code, credit card, or PayPal before April 1st in this particular case. To get into your course, check your email for a registration confirmation and for payment instructions. So you're going to have it all right there, okay? Print this page as a receipt. Here's my account information, even my account ID. I might try to copy that because as I use this, I'll forget. Okay, so I want to go to my courses. And there is going to be a tutorial, and I encourage you to go through this. Easily manage your account, see product information, enroll in open courses, also, mobile response systems, get assistance while working, read announcements. So it can take you through all that. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And here is my course, and it shows it to me right there. See some details there if I like. How long I have access and all this kind of stuff through May 31st in this particular case. And with that said, let me click to go on in. Oh, isn't this nice? They're telling us that we have maintenance scheduled, so we just want to be aware of that so that if we're, saying this is when I'm going to do my homework, you make plans that you don't get caught up with that. So I think I'm going to click my course here. My computer's a little slow, my internet connection's a little slow, so please bear with me. Okay, so that actually took a really long time on my computer. I'll tell you this also, if you think it's taking just way too long, what I did is I hit this refresh button. Also, you can do F5 on your keyboard, and that helped me kind of get in and get set up. Now, you can go through, make sure your time settings are correct, and explore all these kind of things. I encourage you to do that. but I'm in the course now, so let's see, maybe I'll come down and click on course materials. And I need to resize my screen. Hang on. Okay, so you see the list of assignments, and you have the schedule that I provided in class, but you also see the due dates here. And the very first thing we're starting with is Microsoft Word and the Word Workshop 1 simulation. Remember, these are the outside of class activities that help us get a solid foundation so that in class we'll be ready to do some more of our critical thinking and case-based assignments. So I'm going to move my mouse over here. And when I do, see this little down arrow? And I'm going to click Open. Now, here's what I expect. Okay, my pop-ups were already enabled, allowing me to open that up. If not, look across the top and you'll see a little red X. It may not jump out at you, so you may have to look at it. You'll see a little red X or something that says you need to allow this pop-up, and I would put always allow on there if it was me. All right, let me resize my screen again. And I realize this video is getting long, so I'm going to just do a little bit here and then I'm going to try to cut off. My instructions happen to be on the side. Yours may be along the bottom, or they may be along the side. How does it know? How do you know? Can you change it? It's based on your screen resolution, which means, in other words, how big or small your screen is configured. And based on that, MyITLab makes the decision to display the instructions in one place or another. So you may even find that it moves around from computer to computer, you know, or as you change your screen. So the first thing that it tells me to do is to switch to read mode view and then switch to print layout view. So I happen to know that as I go down here, I need to switch to, look at that, there's read mode. I clicked that, and then it says switch to print layout. Well, that was where I was, print layout. I'm going to go back and see how it moved on to the next part of the instruction. Display non-printing characters in the document. Now, I'm not going to do all your homework for you, but I'm going to just show you. These are non-printing characters. Somebody hit the tab key, but I'm not going to print that arrow. You know, it just helps me with the alignment. This is where somebody hit the enter key, right? Okay, notice it moved down to the last part of the instruction. Delete the blank paragraph displayed beneath the RE line. Well, this is a paragraph mark. See that little paragraph there? That's where somebody hit the enter key. So I'm pressing delete. And it says, voila, question complete. Yay, I am excited. And it moves on. And over here, notice that it says we're now on question 2 of 14. And at this point, it says, position the insertion point at the very end of the document, position the insertion point before the word effort on the last line, type the, and then press the space bar. Okay, so what I'm looking for now, my screen is kind of bunched up here, is, okay, down here, I'm sorry, my screen is a little blocked because I'm trying to do this video and all. So there are buttons that say save for later, and there's a button down here, submit your work. And remember that in the syllabus, I told you that you had unlimited attempts on the simulations, but on each particular task, you had 10 attempts. And so you see I have all 10 attempts. I can move through the questions if I want to skip one and come back later. Maybe one of them is giving me a particularly hard time, like print the document. I like that. Right? I can view all the tasks and click on them to move throughout. If I start clicking and I just get confused, I can reset to start over. What I'm looking for down here is the learning aids. Give me just a moment. Okay, you're going to have to bear with me just a little bit, folks, because I should have made my recording screen a little bit bigger. I should have just gone full screen with it, but I didn't. And so with my screen all smushed up, it hid the little button I was looking for learning aids. So watch my mouse if you can. Come down here. See, here's the save and submit buttons. And below that, there's a button for learning aids, and there's also a button for accessibility. Now, what if you were looking at your screen horizontally? In other words, this whole panel may run across the bottom of your screen. They're going to be on the right-hand side. It's a clearly marked button. It says learning aids. There's another clearly marked button that says accessibility if you need things like closed caption, for example. But it does many more things. I encourage you to check it out. I'm clicking learning aids. And as I click learning aids, notice I have different choices. I can read. Some people really like that. If you're at work, you are in a location where you do not, you're on your break at work or lunch break or something, and you can't have the sound on, or you don't have sound capabilities, maybe you want to open that part of the textbook. I know this is long. Bear with me because it's going to get you started on this. And it's going to take me through the steps right to the part of the book that I need to know. Here's what I need to know in order to accomplish that step, and I can read through it, right? Okay, so you know how to do that. I'm going to close that. If I click Learning Aid again, I can say I want to watch. Now, watch means everything, the entire sequence.
Microsoft Word, Workshop 1, Blue Box 3, to view Backstage. Before you continue to make changes to the memo, you should familiarize yourself with Microsoft Office Backstage View. Backstage View is a collection of common actions and settings that apply to the current document. For example, the Print menu enables you to preview the document, set print options, and print. And the Options menu enables you to customize Word according to your preferences. You will now examine Backstage View. The Backstage View appears when you click the File tab.
Okay, so you get the idea. Notice it's not specifically about the task that we've been asked to accomplish. It's going to go through, it's going to do about 2 minutes, minute 45, with an explanation. That's nice. It gives you the full picture, and that can be very helpful. What many students use, and I am all for it, but I'm also going to tell you the pros and cons, is practice. Now remember, I'm supposed to print the document. That's the only task at hand. So I did learning aids and then practice.
Click the File tab.
Okay, now I need to move my screen. Like I said, I apologize. I should have made mine full screen. See how it's telling me? And so all I got to do is just click that.
Click Print.
And it's guiding me through. Isn't this wonderful? Because if you are just really stuck, you cannot understand what am I supposed to be doing. This really tells you. However,
click the Print button.
As I mentioned in class, what some students tend to do, we're all human and we fall into kind of these, patterns where we will just say click, 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 click. You just look for the red dotted line and you just say, I don't know. Let me just click, click, click. And what's going to happen is when you advance to the greater project, you are really going to be stuck because you're not going to understand the steps that you were supposed to take because you weren't trying to learn those steps. You were just clicking where the computer told you to click. So it's very helpful. It's the reason you may want to switch up your learning aids and use different ones. And it's also a reason that you may want to say at the end of this, okay, what did I do? What was I trying to do? And let me mentally review the steps in my mind so that I really internalize it, okay? So I'm going to click that. And now, okay, now it's told me the practice is complete. Try it myself. It returns me back to this simulator. and I say, okay, now I know I was supposed to click File, I was supposed to click Print, and I was supposed to click this Print button. And now I got the question complete, and I can advance to the next task. Okay? So that is the simulator. Now, but that's not all we're doing, right? So I'm going to save this so that I can come back to it later. Are you sure? I am. And my video is going really long here, isn't it? Perhaps I will do the grader project. Well, let me just get you started on the grader, and I'll do a separate video because there's a lot of things to the grader that I want to talk about. Okay, once again, if I sit here and oops, that's the simulator. Whoops. Out of that. Leave. Okay, let me go back to the grader. Oops, there it is, the grader. And I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click Open. All right, now, step 1, step 2, step 3. And let me explain what's going on. You're going to download the files because this is not a simulator. You're going to actually use the product. You're going to use Word, or you're going to use Excel, or you're going to use PowerPoint, whatever it happens to be. So I'm going to click Download. And there are 2 files here. One of them is where you're going to do your work. Here's Grader. This one, see how it says instructions? This is the full set of instructions. Now, I'll tell you a mistake a couple students have made is terrible, okay? You see right now 3 instructions, and you're thinking, this is so easy. I'll be done with this lickety-split. But what you have to make sure that you pay attention to is that there's a scroll bar over here. There's a lot more than 3 instructions. In fact, for this particular one, there's 16 instructions. So don't let that fool you, okay? Make sure that you're doing each and every step. Also, oops, notice that, I'm so sorry, I should have made this full screen. Notice that it tells me for each instruction how many points I earn for completing that particular instruction. If I don't earn full points later on, then I'll know that I missed that particular instruction. So here I go, I download the file. You can download them individually, or you can download them all as a zip file. Some students do like to just, do this. You do it however you want. Just remember, zip files, you need to expand it. Okay, my computer's going through some scans. I'm going to go ahead and click that to open it. And I'll put, well, okay, it opens quickly, otherwise I'll pause. All right, here's the document I'm going to be working on. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do anything. I can't type or anything until I enable editing. Make sure you do that. Okay, close this navigation bar here. And here's my document. So now I just need to know what to do with that document. So I'm going to go back to my browser. Here's those instructions. Now everybody's computer downloads a little differently. Just make sure you're downloading. If you need help with that, stop by the Academic Support Center, stop by the library, has a walk-up help desk. Now, I'm going to enable, editing. I'm not going to change the instructions. What good would that do me? First thing it says, start Word, open the file, which I did open. And this is how I have to name it. See that? Now, don't you dare type last first. Obviously, last is your last name, first is your first name, and then it says display non-printing characters if not already visible. So, let me switch back over. Now, you may print these. You may print these instructions so that you can read them. I'm going to say I'm going to save as. See, here's the name of the document now, and I'm going to save that, and I would save it with the new file name. Now, I'm not going to go through and save that to my computer. You save it. Save it. Remember where you save it. Students save things in the documents on the desktop and then the flash drive, and then you submit the wrong one. So keep up with where you're saving this file because it has to have that particular name. So let's pretend I did that. Then the next instruction said to display non-printing characters. So I need to do that, right? I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just giving you an idea, right? Select the entire document and then change the paragraph after spacing to 12 points. Now, if you're saying, I have no idea what she's even talking about, maybe you need to pay attention in the simulator. Maybe you need to go to your printed text or to the ebook, whichever you preferred, and look that up, okay? Maybe you need to Google it or search YouTube or something like that, but I'm going to select the entire document, then change the paragraph after spacing to 12 points. Give you a little trick. Control A, selected the entire document. I see the paragraph grouping here. I'm going to click that. Excuse me. And spacing, before, after, and this needs to be, I can either use the little up and downs, or I could just type, let's not do 120, let's say 12. You see it all adjust? That means the space between this paragraph and this paragraph is 12-point font. Okay? Now, does it tell me task complete? You know, good job, you did it? No, because this is not a simulator. This is the grader, and you're supposed to be a little bit more confident. You practiced in the simulator. Now you're doing with the grader. The training wheels have come off. And again, these are steps towards coming into class where we're going to do the critical thinking aspect of it. So you would continue through each one of the instructions, making sure that you followed each and every step very, very carefully, doing it exactly so. And then when you are done, you know, you see all the instructions that you should, you know, hopefully get 100 points. Then what you're going to do is, you know, you save this, of course, with the proper file name. I'm leaving this open because so I don't video my whole computer, okay? Oops. Okay, so I'm done with this. Let me come back over here. So I downloaded the files. I completed the instructions. I did the work on the assignment. You might even close out of MyITLab while you're doing that. You log back in. You can open this screen again. Not going to hurt anything. Then I'm going to say I need to upload my completed file. Let me pause one last time. So I clicked the Choose File button. I found the file I had saved on my desktop. It has to be saved with the name that they told me to save it with. Then I'm going to upload. Now here's a little bit of the next tricky part, which is when students upload, you feel that you are done, especially because it gives you this message that seems to imply that you are done, but you are not. You must, it tells you, also click the Finish Submit for Grading button to send the file to MyIT Grader. So what they're talking about is over here, Finish and Submit for Grading. Now remember, you get 5 attempts to get this correct. So it takes maybe a couple minutes. It shouldn't take an hour. It takes a very short amount of time. And 7%, well, see, I didn't do all the instructions, did I? So I need to now go in and explore my attempts, view submissions, and I need to start figuring out what's going wrong. Now, each time I submit, I'll see the submissions lined up over here. I need to click on one of those, and this is a little tricky also. The reports where you can go in and find out what's going on are across the top right here, and each one shows the data in a slightly different way. So this is where you need to find out, you know, what went right and what went wrong, so that you can fix it and upload the file again, as you fix it. So look here, I didn't get any points for naming it correctly. I did get my 5 points for changing the paragraph spacing. I only got 2 points on this next one. Apply bold to the words to, from, blah, blah. So, that's where obviously I didn't do that step at all. So you can see I'm missing the points, and that's the indicator that I need to get in there and correct that. So I would open the file again, and I would make those changes. I don't even have to download it. You don't have to start from the beginning on the grader. Just open that file again and fix it. Now, it does have to be your file. Cannot be another student's file. It has to be your file. But just keep going through and fixing it. So I hope this helps you to get started. I'm so sorry that our internet was down the other night and that I couldn't demonstrate this to you. But get in there, get working, and I'll probably do some more videos or send you some of the pre-made Pearson videos to help you get started. So thank you, and I